Hello, everybody! It is Pieman here. I am filling in for Mike Smith, or ScreamingJoypad, the normal host of GOGCast, and I'm going to hope that this entire thing doesn't come crumbling on fire and burning to the ground. We'll see whether or not that happens as we work our way through the GOGCast, but we will hope for the best. Our guests today, if I can bring everything up correctly, there we go. Now we got them on this. Nope. There they are. There they are. They're on screen right now. We have Darksaber2k, TheCroxxx, and the developer of a lovely game known as Always Sometimes Monsters, known as Justin Amirkhani. I ruined that name, but I got close. I'm going to unmute them now, and we're going to start the show. So, let's go together. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
No problem, man.
Hello. We should
Hello
start
there.
with Justin explaining how to pronounce his name, probably, and giving us all a lesson.
I had it
Okay,
perfect until I had to say it.
I'm Justin Amirkhani.
Amirkhani, there it is.
Creative director here at Vagabond Dog.
My apologies for
Hey,
that.
Justin. Awesome
Hello.
to have you here.
But like
Thank
I
you
said
for
before, he is the developer of Always Sometimes Monsters, which is a game I've not actually played it. I've heard quite a bit about it. It is currently available DRM free over on GOG.com. And why don't you tell us, what the game is?
Okay, so Always Sometimes Monsters is a game where you play 30 days in the life of a person, going from the East Coast to the West Coast before the love of your life marries somebody else. You start the game the day you get evicted. You're a sort of failed writer, and all about the game is about the choices you make on your way through this journey and how they change the story and how you feel about your morality and your ethics along the way. As every opportunity to progress is kind of like marred with this fact you've got to do it over somebody else's back.
Like I said before, I've not actually played the game, but I do know that Outstar has played quite a bit of it. So,
I
Outstar,
did.
if you want to start, ask some questions or anything like that, and if anybody in chat has any questions they would like to ask Justin while we've got him here, feel free to post them in chat, and either I or Outstar will try to send those over.
Well, the thing is, I met Justin by doing the dev stream of Always Sometimes Monsters on my channel. The thing started from me doing a stream of Always Sometimes Monsters on GOG, and Justin popped in the chat. So we talked afterwards, and we did a dev stream on my channel, which was super freaking awesome and original, because I was used to doing dev streams by the date, and I did some dev streams in the past, but I've never actually talked about the meaning of life and some important life matters with a developer anytime again on the dev stream, which was really, really amazing. And I remember I played the game, and it went quickly from, at first, expecting something kind of visual novel-like, but in a little bit of a different visual style, into something pretty gore, and me setting up the plus 18 adult system on Twitch, because I was afraid that kids will get immortalized by this game. And then to being emotionally shattered, because this game made me cry and made me consider what should I do with my life, and if my living is right. So I want to ask Justin, after all this time, because this game was released a while ago, do you have how did your emotions about the game change? Do you feel still very attached to the project? Are you just tired of it right now? Do you think you would change a lot?
So one of the big things that happen is when you're creating something like ASM, it's like inherently tied to your life experience at the time you're making it, right? It's a story about struggling to create something while I was in the midst of struggling to create something. It was about a character who had not yet proven themselves and coming to do that. And so, like, my story invariably sort of matches the potentials of the characters. Obviously, there's so much variance in the game that it can go on many different tracks. But no, after the game released and it did pretty well, I started to come to a second stage in my life, a new place, right? I'm not living in my parents' basement, typing away on my first game anymore, and I've got a bit of an operation going now. So, which is a big part of the reason why the new game, Sometimes Always Monsters, focuses on a lot of these different aspects. About instead of starting at the bottom of society, you're now a successful person and you're married and life's going really well, and it's about like holding on to that. And so it's a bit more of like a downward sort of slide rather than this like uphill climb that the first game sort of represented. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at these days, more like trying to just hold on to this good thing I've kind of managed to fall into.
That's really cool. And I remember asking this question on my stream, but I kind of want the GOG audience to know about this too, about the origins of the name Vagabond Dog of your studio.
Right. Okay. So that goes into a bit of the origins of the studio itself. Before I started working on Always Sometimes Monsters, I was doing this big journalism project where I would hitchhike and take buses and backpack around North America visiting game developers. And so I kind of like took on that vagabond persona pretty heavily. And then, when I partnered up with my buddy Jake, he's a huge fan of dogs. So it just like... it went one or the other, and like the definitions of the words, I know, in combination sort of fit our aesthetic, I guess.
So can you say that Always Sometimes Monsters basically made you a successful creator out of a vagabond?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because that's also the story of the game as well. Like, it's one of these things where like I had this vision of this idea of like, okay, yeah, you can be this crazy vagabondy type person and then still do something and still create something of value and worth. And it's like, you don't have to be, follow the system. You don't have to play by the rules exactly. You can do your own thing. And that's kind of what Vagabond is to me. It's about like just following your heart and like, going and being yourself. The fact that the game could theoretically have been regarded as a tragedy, and many do regard it as a tragedy, but considering how well it did in my life, and the story of that has been pretty great.
So I actually heard the reviews were pretty good, and the people both on GOG and Steam reviews the user reviews are really amazing. So did you actually get a negative feedback about your game?
Oh yeah, totally. There was I think somebody gave us a 0.5 out of 10 for the game.
Wow.
Simply because it's harsh. It's harsh, but I guess it's completely fair because it depends on what you're looking at what you're looking for when you're looking at a game, right? I mean, there's entire sections of ASM that are designed specifically to bore you, to tire you out, to make you weary, and that's not something that people are really comfortable with or used to, right? Like, so you'll have to go and get an odd job and like move boxes from left to right.
Yeah, I remember this one. Right? It was so painful.
Right, it sucks. It's an uncomfortable thing. And if you can't separate the game's intent from the game, like what actually happens, you can have a hard time appreciating something like that, right? If you're the kind of person who can say like, oh, okay, the game put me through this torture to teach me something, then I think you can value it. But if you're enjoying games because you want to have fun, this is probably a good reason to give it a 0.5, because that's absolutely not enjoyable at all.
So I was wondering about
what kind of game actually is it? If it's the game that I remember it looks like an old school turn-based RPG. If it's the game that I remember it, but based off of that's the only thing that I can correlate to anything with that. I don't know anything else about it or could figure anything else out from when I looked at it.
Yeah, it's super hard to explain because we don't really use a lot of genre conventions. Like, so we take this like structure of a typical JRPG, and we remove all the combat system stuff. We don't use any of that. You've got an inventory and there's items you can get and stuff, but everything kind of just happens in this sort of like narrative progression. You live day to day, you walk around town, you explore, you talk to people, get into dialogue branches, make choices, follow through, see what the consequences are. It's kind of like, like a JRPG about modern life. If you didn't have all the stats and combat and stuff thrown in there.
It's actually, I wanted to ask about the, as you said about the critique before, I wanted to ask about the best praise you got for your game, or even, I don't remind if it's from the press or from gamers. So what was the best thing you heard about Always Sometimes Monsters that you really wanted to hear before?
There's been a lot of, like, I get emails every now and then from people, and a lot of people really appreciate, the breadth of character selection that I've got in the game. You can be all sorts of, different types of people, and that's something a lot of people really appreciated. And I kind of just did it as like this, gameplay mechanic to add variance to the story, right? So that everybody could have a unique experience. And like, it turned out to be something that like people really, really valued. So I've received plenty of lovely emails about that. But then also like a lot of emails from people who were in sort of similar situations. They'd had their heart broken or whatever. They really wanted somebody back, and the game kind of like facilitated a way for them to kind of, get to the next stage of that. They see this story as this tragedy of what happens if you like doggedly pursue someone who's, either they're interested in you or they're not. You don't know, right? It's this like quantum thing that you're chasing, and you don't know until the end, and that can throw you down this terrible path. And so a lot of people really, were affected by that kind of thing. And so they write about, how it got them through that kind of part in their life.
Did you actually change someone's lives with that? Someone wrote to you that you actually affected their life a lot? And maybe this chasing, for example. I
think every piece of work can do it for anybody. Like, there's so many people and there's so many, different needs and stuff like that. I'm sure even art that you think wouldn't affect people still affects people, because there's somebody out there that's going to be affected by it in a very deep and significant way. And that's what makes it art, even though we might disregard it. Somebody else is going to be really passionate about it.
Yeah, Croxxx, Saber, I want to ask you guys, have you played the game actually?
I haven't, no, but it has been on one of my wish lists for quite some time, but it's just so many games, so little time,
I know.
But yeah, it has had my interest for quite some time. I'm probably going to have to bump it up the list after hearing this. Definitely.
So
Croxxx, have you... Mm-hmm.
Oh no, yeah. So one of the cool things that we're doing now, so you can pick up ASM now and play through it, and we'll be releasing Sometimes Always Monsters later this year. Now you can start Sometimes Always Monsters as a completely fresh game.
Wait. Are you're talking about two different things?
Yes, sir.
We have you lost me in there somewhere. I'm sorry.
There's Always Sometimes Monsters and Sometimes Always Monsters, which is a sequel to the game, which is upcoming, and it will come this year, I think, right? This year?
Yeah.
I've only ever heard Sometimes Always Monsters. I've never heard it as or was it? Now I don't even remember.
No.
I'm lost.
The other time
I'm
around.
lost. Just continue talking to everybody else. I'm out of it.
No problem.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'll give a little bit of an explanation. So this year we're coming out with a brand new game called Sometimes Always Monsters, and it's like an antithesis to the first one. ASM is a game where you're trying to achieve something, and the new game is this opposite, where you're trying not to lose things. And so we've got it's a brand new game. You can start it off fresh from the top, or you can, if you finished ASM, you can bring your save file over and carry on your entire continuity.
I love when games do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's really hard. It's not easy to like.
I imagine.
There's a lot of technical limitations and stuff we have with our engine, so we had to like do a bunch of stuff to make this work, and then actually making like all this variant content for a percentage of people who are carrying on is like, at some point you get to this like super thin line of like, one person's going to see this line of dialogue. I know it.
That's the stuff people really, really appreciate, though. A lot of big games or at least AAA games have the sort of mentality of, if no one's going to see it, what's the point of making it? So they kind of make stuff that everybody who plays through it is going to see. You don't really get that sort of personal kind of experience thing you can talk about to your friends, that they're like, I have no idea what that is. I didn't even know that was in the game. Now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that as a studio we value really highly, and we've actually started getting player data back. So we started this program with a company called Project Continuity. So people email us their ASM save files, and we use that to test the new game to make sure everything's working fine. But we can also see some data regarding like who went down what paths and how popular certain things are, so that like when I make a reference to something old in the new game, I know how many people need to be refreshed, and like they've never, like there's a character that I was like really keen on, but apparently like 0.1% of people like actually ever got to interact with them. And I was really keen on bringing them back for the next game, but now they need a whole new reintroduction. So it's like learning these kinds of things and studying your player data is really important to like planning these kinds of things out.
There's one question from the chat. I mean, Kresigov is asking other people, am I the only one who thinks this game is depressing as hell? Well, I think that too, actually, because the game reminded me of some sad things in my life. I cried like a baby when I played it. But I actually wonder, because Justin, you told us that when you were making Always Sometimes Monsters, it was connected somehow to events in your life. For example, you know, maybe some struggles about love life and stuff like that, which I don't, of course, want to dig. But I wanted to ask if, as now, you are a new human being doing Sometimes Always Monsters, being successful after ASM, will the new game be more positive, you think, or not really?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done a bunch of things like mechanically to make that happen too. So there was a big thing in the first game where like I didn't even realize it until we'd shipped, but we had this thing where people would come into town and they would meet a character. They'd have a great interaction. They'd feel really close to them, and because you're a vagabond in the game, you move on, and they're gone, and that relationship is just kind of severed. So one thing we added in this new game is you've got a cast of characters with you. So the new game, you're going on a bus tour, West Coast to East Coast, with a bunch of other authors who've also published their book, and there's a big group of people you can select from, and there's 10 possible selections. You get to pick 4 of them, and they come with you on the journey, and they're real friends. Like you create these relationships with them, and you can every day go out with them, and it's like you feel more close to people. And your spouse is also able to come with you as well, which is a very big difference from being completely alone in ASM. It's got a lighter tone in the writing. We're using a lot more humor and stuff like that because this is supposed to show a very different sort of journey, right? Rather than this, you know, depressing slog up to something. It's about this sort of like joyous free fall in a way, right? If you don't manage yourself, it's very easy to like just slide. Like, so we start also another thing, we start the game, you have a lot of money this time, right? So you start with a fixed sum of money at the start of the game, and as you go through it, you know, everything kind of costs. And this isn't a game about moving boxes anymore. You're not making money. It's just about, you know, managing that free fall before you get back down to zero.
Wow. Okay. So you're going from the bottom to the top and then again to the bottom, probably,
and then
right?
it creates this big circle where the two just exist as halves of a whole, right?
So no third part of the game planned so far.
I don't think it's possible.
Is it going to be a thing where you'll update the first game so you can put your save file from the second game into the first game and just constantly play both of them back to back?
I can't speak exactly as to what my plans are, but that is not the most insane thing I've heard.
Wow. What is the most insane thing you've heard? Or one of the most?
Injecting a third game into this duality.
Okay.
It's not, I don't think I can do it. Unless the only way it can happen is if I get to the end of Sometimes Always Monsters, I ship this thing, and life shows me a new stage that I am currently incapable of comprehending. And in that case, we step into the third phase. But as of now, I am incapable of imagining a third phase of life beyond these two.
Were you able to imagine this phase of life before you actually did the ASM?
Yeah, no. Because we have all these allegories for success, and this story of ASM, this struggle to achieve and accomplishment is something we've heard all our lives, and we also understand what stability is. And once you accomplish stability and you feel comfortable, it's not that hard to imagine. You've seen other people be successful. You've seen other people be comfortable. I don't know what happens next. I've never been amongst people who are beyond successful.
Yeah, I mean, I am wondering because I remember as a game about despair and about being in the most sucky life position you can even imagine. That you're in love with someone who is not with you anymore, you are broke, you are homeless, everything is terrible. And I'm wondering actually, because we are starting the new game as a person who has money, we have fame, we have fortune, we have friends, we have everything. Do you actually incorporate those first word problems in the second part of the game? I know it might sound funny, but to actually show people that even people who are successful, and even if you achieve your dreams, life can suck terribly for you, and it does make you happy.
So like we did with ASM, we don't try to approach scenes with specific emotional intent. It's up to the player to decide that, and that's the great contribution of players, right? You come with this perspective and you define the scenes itself. But in terms of, there are still issues, but the funny thing is we've changed the structure of the game to, I think, almost everything being optional, including this whole bus tour, right? So at the top of the game, you can just be like, "Nah, I'm just gonna chill at home and watch Netflix." Like if that's your jam, then you can do that right off the bat. And so I guess the idea of first world problems or whatever is that they're all elective problems. And so by keeping all of the content completely optional, any trouble you get into, it's really your own fault because you've pursued it in a sense. And so this is the kind of philosophy that drives, the player's self-incrimination and getting them, to be the makers of their own demise.
I'm actually super curious about it because Always Sometimes Monsters was very branched. The branching was really huge in the game. And if you're trying to put even more in Sometimes Always Monsters, this is such a huge work to do. How do you cope with that in your team? And how many people are in your team right now?
So we've grown a little bit. It used to be me and Jake and Emilio with a couple freelancers. Will O'Neill, who wrote and created Actual Sunlight, has joined on. It's been great because he's a writer too, and so we've been able to have some nice back and forth, which has really helped, especially with the friendship dialogues. Having a person to actually communicate with makes, I guess, conversations seem a little more authentic.
Awesome.
So
you're writing the friendships you're writing one part and he's writing the second one, like a conversation?
Sort of. It's more like we both have a really great understanding of these 10 characters, right? So they're all different types of authors. They've all written in different genres. They all have different backgrounds and personalities and everything. And we've had to really get to know these people. Because we've created a system where when you're traveling between towns, you get to actually see vignettes of two of the characters without your interaction. We've written I don't know how many it is, 45, 95, something like that. So it's a ridiculous number. It's every single possible combination has 2 scenes attached to it. It's ludicrous. But you get to see all these interactions and stuff and without your influence, which is something we didn't get to do with the first game because the player was always super pivotal in every key scene. But yeah, so that's kind of how the writing process goes. We just know these characters and talk about what they would do, wouldn't do, that kind of thing.
It's interesting to hear.
It's a lot like gossiping about friends.
It's interesting to hear that you're working with the guy from Actual Sunlight, because from what I understand, that is also a very depressing game. So
it's weird. It's weird because he is also from Toronto. We grew up not that far from each other, and we didn't know anything about one another until after we'd shipped our games, and then we we met each other, and then and we were just oh yeah, perfect, cool, we'll be buddies.
Take two depressing game authors to put together to make an optimistic game.
Yeah, it's if you take a negative and you multiply it by a negative, right?
There you go.
Isn't that how that works?
Hopefully.
I don't know.
I'm just wondering, did you have to somehow, I don't know, chop off the amount of things from Always Sometimes Monsters to put in those, those decisions we can make? Because I can remember every decision in Always Sometimes Monsters. There are so many of them. And when you try to ship everything to Sometimes Always Monsters, the branching in my head just goes, I don't know, it's like the dividing per 0. So how do you do that?
So the way I really manage it is I'm still focused on a lot of people hear the save importing stuff and they think that it's like, okay, so this continuity branches in this way, and it really is, there is a core storyline here that everybody is able to be involved with. I find differences in the scenes based off of prior actions. So I find, like, in a scene, I'm like, okay, what's a cool variance to have? An example being, very few people know about Detective Ricky in Always Sometimes Monsters. He appears in Beaten. Very few people found him, but he's a pivotal character in Sometimes Always Monsters. And
I haven't met him.
Exactly, right? Nobody has. So when you go into the scene, he's going to introduce himself like a stranger. He's going to treat you differently because he doesn't know who you are. I mean, he's investigated you and he's got, some information, but he doesn't know who you are. Now, if you come into the scene as a player who's, maybe worked with Ricky and he's a friend of him, it takes on this whole different tone because it's like, oh, we're at this crossroads and it's like, I know you're a good person, but now I'm, it's finding interesting ways. It doesn't have to like branch the whole thing off. We can come to the same conclusions, but changing the perception and the tone of scenes is really key to creating that variant experience that people really expect from us.
I see. Will it be like if you are an evil person in Always Sometimes Monsters, it will actually have some consequences in Sometimes Always Monsters?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that have a lot of consequences. I mean, there's, it's like, I don't want to give away too much. That's the problem.
Yes, more.
there is this element to the game where you're trying not to stand out too much. You want to avoid getting in trouble, right? You want things to go smoothly. So if there is bad things from the past, you maybe want to behave in ways that would keep it from being brought up, or find things to suppress these things, because as things come to a head, that book of sins carries with you wherever you go.
But actually, can you how to put that in words? Can you change the person you were in the past and be someone new in the new ages of Sometimes Always Monsters, or does the past always haunt you? And
some people finished ASM and their character maybe didn't make it.
Okay.
Right? That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Which makes a save import.
Does that mean that if you import the save, you just get a black screen and that's it?
Like a Mass Effect 2 sort of thing.
The continuity carries on. I'm not sure. I'm positive some people might not be happy with the outcome they start with, but yeah.
You start as a zombie.
The story goes on.
Wow.
Yeah, to the victor go the spoils.
Okay, I'm imagining all the things, like you play as a zombie and no one wants to talk to you, and there's a huge, apocalypse warning and TV is talking about you. Or the second one when you are actually at your own funeral and you hear people talking about you.
Yeah, everyone's being like, man, that person was such a horrible person.
That would be creepy.
Yeah. No.
What about the lovers from Always Sometimes Monsters? Do they also appear in the second part?
Yeah, so if you successfully got the love interest back, you guys are married now, and you live together, and life's great, and you're happy, and all that.
No, it's terrible. It should be like you tried so much in the ASM, and now it's all terrible because that person farts at night, or I don't know, anything.
Well, it's actually funny you mentioned that, because we do have a lot of things in there to try and bring some like authenticity to the relationship, right? Like. So there's a big scene at the start where like you come in from the intro, and then they're at the desk and they're like hands down like this, and figuring out how you move through the scene there like decides how the interaction goes. So if you're the kind of person who like goes and like comforts them at their shoulder, or like sits across from them to discuss the problem, or if you like walk away and ignore them completely, right? These kinds of things all have little differences in the scene and change it just in small ways, right?
Lunches. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of little
horrible
twigs.
person in that game.
Yeah.
I was a horrible person in that game, but I didn't want to be a horrible person, you know? I was like, so there's this quest to give this girl drugs, but she wants them, so I should do that, right? I should be a good person and give her drugs. So yes, I was a terrible person at the end. I lost the whole game. I didn't win my love interest back. Everything was terrible, but I tried my best. Actually, what's really weird in ASM for me is that I really tried my best, and this was not actually the thing to do. You can't. I hope it's not a spoiler about the game, but if you're trying your best,
spoiler warning,
in real life or in a game, everything falls apart. You have to try a little bit less. And is that also the thing in Sometimes Always Monsters, that when you try to do everything perfectly, things fall apart?
A little bit. It's like things can only go wrong when you put your foot in, right?
Okay.
If you avoid things, stuff just kind of goes by, right? Like
it's just like real life.
The moral of the story is not to try.
Well, I mean, try if you completely don't try, and then in the first game you don't make any money, you starve to death. That's not fun either. It's about finding balance, right? You know, that Zen middle line, right? It's a hard thing to find. I don't know if you can find that in a game, but
I wanted to ask about something spoiler-free, because I'm afraid I will juice too much information from you, and
all right.
And this will get weird afterwards. But I really want to ask, because I saw the trailer to Sometimes Always Monsters, and it's amazing how the graphics went forward, because you guys have now awesome animations, and it's really fun because in the trailer it's actually shown that there are zooms on the characters, and they are they're lying in bed in different positions. When they're falling to the ground dead, it's super animated. So why the change? And is that because of someone on your team that joined you? About this.
This is all the work of our lead artist Emilio. We looked at the engine and saw if we could push it in new ways. So we've upped the resolution. Where ASM doesn't even run in widescreen. It's a pretty low tech game, but we've done some things to get the graphics up, and we thought about how can we improve the art style, and we went with the idea of focusing on one guy doing all the art and keeping it all in one style, and the advantages have clearly been shown. The game looks different, but I do think better. I like it more.
I mean the style is pretty similar, and do you go for the similar style of music too?
Yeah, so the same band is working with us. They got a brand new soundtrack. It's great, but we are doing something different with the music this time in terms of how it's mechanically played out in the game. So one new feature we've added is you have a cell phone in this game, which was a big gag in the last one, where you'd never had a cell phone because we couldn't figure out how to make it work properly. But now you have a cell phone, and there's a little music button, and it plays songs. If you get tired of a song, you can switch it up or hear the different songs on the soundtrack as you please. But what's really fascinating to me is we've tied the songs to characters. So each of the potential bus friends, as we call them, has a song associated with them. And if you don't have, somebody's friendship in your life, you might lose that song from the world as well, right? It's like the idea is when you're in your car, you're you hear a song that reminds you of somebody or whatever. If you didn't know that person, you would never even recognize the song. So it's all this music just passes you by if you don't maintain good relationships with people or whatever.
This is great. And just for our viewers, because I'm personally a huge fan of the soundtrack of the Always Sometimes Monsters, is there any way to get the soundtrack separately, or do you plan to do the same with the soundtrack for Sometimes Always Monsters?
We haven't actually finalized any of the soundtrack release plans or anything like that, but we're looking into doing more stuff. We didn't we were really surprised. We shouldn't have been surprised. It was great music, but people really did like the soundtrack from the first game. So we're gonna try and do a nice, I don't know what we're gonna try and do, but we're gonna try and do something nice to make sure it's good release. If you're looking for music, laserdestroyerteam.bandcamp.com.
Awesome.
Laser Destroyer Team. That is the best name for anything.
Yeah, they're
pretty
great.
epic.
Yeah, so that you can get like I think they've got like 3. We ended up having 3 soundtracks to the game by the end of it because there was so much music in the game. So you can see them all there.
Any plans to
Yeah.
release it DRM free on GOG.com?
Which one? Sometimes
The soundtrack?
the soundtrack is
Attached,
already there?
I think. Yeah, I think it's attached
Probably,
to the
yeah.
game. You can, when you buy the game, you get
Yeah.
the soundtrack too.
I'm at the new one.
Oh, yeah. I guess I mean like we'll do bundles with the game and the soundtrack for sure. I mean, people loved it with the first one.
It's
So.
always nice to see.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like it's cool when you get like access to all the music and stuff as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to actually ask about another technical issue, because I remember that the first game was made on RPG Maker, wasn't it?
Yep.
And do you actually make the second game on RPG Maker too? And because I know personally from a dev perspective, as I play with RPG Maker myself, that RPG Maker got a lot of new releases and new features. And do you also want to use this engine for a second game, or do you go for something else?
So we are using the exact same engine that we made ASM in.
And the same version, like
And
the
the
old
same
one.
version, yes.
Wow!
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I know.
You use what's familiar.
Well, we actually had to, in order to do the save import feature.
I see.
Right. So
Ah.
if we changed engines, like we could potentially build some sort of exporting feature or whatever, and allow players to do it that way, but that would be an extra step for them, and we really wanted this to be a kind of convenient, just drag my file in and drop it kind of experience. So we instead just chose our engine based on that.
This is great.
Yeah.
Especially because I know how much hassle it is to do so much customization in this engine. Like, for example, that you want to have a widescreen and various resolution. It was always a big hassle in RPG Maker. So how did you work on that? On those technical issues?
It's gonna sound strange, but what I call the RPG Maker fairies of the internet, like, came and they're like, they were, I guess, saw the game and liked it, and they were like, hey, we know about this, how to improve this thing, and they, you can find it all online if you look hard enough, but it's just a change in the code and stuff like that. Yeah, they showed me how to do it, and I was like, oh, awesome, cool. So that's it helped.
So are you involved in the RPG Maker communities and with people making those games?
No, not as much as I'm involved in as much as like I'll go and like look for solutions to problems, but I'm not smart enough to actually like offer anything. Like if I was trying to advise people, like I can advise, I get emails from beginners like on occasion, who are like starting out RPG Maker projects and they want some advice on where to go or what to do. And those people I can help easily, but I can't really help much with the technical side of stuff. I'm just not that competent.
Sure. I saw also that you are selling the full asset packs for Always Sometimes Monsters on RPG Maker stores.
Yeah, that was a weird little experiment that it actually worked out pretty well. So we made a tile set out of the assets from the first game. Did a bunch of touch-up work so that it fit, because our game is actually, it uses full what they call parallax maps, which are just we just have flat backgrounds. I'll work in a tile set first to make a template. We hand that off to Emilio, our artist. He does a nice big splash of the whole thing so we get the lighting right. But we wanted to offer people an easy way to get nice cities looking like ASM in their games. So yeah, we did a tile set, and that has actually, I've seen a couple small projects that have started using it, but I'm glad it's getting some play.
That's awesome, and it's super cool that you are actually selling the assets that you used in the game, and people recognize them, because as a RPG maker myself, I can't really see a lot of futuristic assets. I mean, the sci-fi ones are super popular, but if you want to go for actually something urban, for something modern but not futuristic, super crazy fantasy, it's really rare. So you didn't actually use any of the assets that you had before the ASM, and you created everything from scratch?
No, so we took the maps that we'd made in ASM and like we have all the PSDs and stuff which are all layered and everything, so we could, I mean Emilio did all this work. He figured out, we made the tile set working nicely and touched out the lighting so that it worked no matter what's how you design the map. And he made an awesome trailer for it too.
Yeah, it was super cool. So Croxxx, you wanted to ask a question, right?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Yeah, someone from chat, Tikenjia, wants to know if there are any, well, surprise appearances from previous characters of the game. So are there? I know we talked about this a little earlier that some characters actually have a second appearance, but is there's yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple of them. Some people may not get them if those characters aren't alive or in good standing or whatever. But yeah, there's a bunch of characters. I guess you want to know specific character cameos. Detective Ricky's a pretty big one.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Just in case. Huge spoiler warning.
Huge spoilers. Depending on how the hospital goes in ASM, you may or may not have a visit from an old friend pretty early on in the game.
Oh.
Okay.
Bigness.
Is there any chance to get a character in the Sometimes Always Monsters that died in the first game?
Oh no! If they're dead, they're dead, right?
No.
I mean, that's as far as I understand life. This is what I know about death.
But if you don't export the save file where your character dies, you have a chance to meet them. Or don't you?
If your character is dead, you have a chance to meet them?
No, I mean if you don't export the save file.
Yeah.
From Always Sometimes
Oh,
Monsters,
if you
so
start a
starting
new
from
game?
scratch. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You could, I mean, it's not like it can read
So
your mind.
it's not like the state of the game that you have when you just start from the scratch without the save file. It's not like some characters are dead by by default, right?
No, it's not like that. It assumes a pretty like neutral ground kind of thing, not a lot of craziness going on, because it's like more about figuring out the backstory and stuff as you go. It's more of like a mystery kind of thing if you're a new player. A comedy mystery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and people on the chat are saying that this podcast needs more long-haired dudes. I'm sorry, I'm going away. But yeah, guys, on the chat, we have 15 minutes left for Justin's interview. So if you have any questions, please ask away, because Justin's here for you. And in the meantime, I want to ask, what would you change in Always Sometimes Monsters if you could go back to it or make it from the scratch again?
Yeah. Okay. So this one I know the answer to, and that is, and this is a change that we've brought into Sometimes Always Monsters, and it's in the way we handled time. It was mandatory progression. You had to do something. You had to fill the time because we felt this like you had to work before you could sleep. You couldn't just pass a day, right? And that changed the game from being to a very linear experience, as opposed to if you could have more freedom in the choice of how you spend a day, then it becomes more of this like sandbox with even more variance. But we didn't, I guess didn't have full faith in our ability to control such like an unstable thing, because the more sandboxy you go, the more, things can go wrong. But now in the new game, this is the big change I like. You can fill your days in a variety of ways that aren't necessarily tied to any specific part of the story and aren't work.
But is there a timer for a day? A specific timer?
Yeah, there's you still advance time by doing things, but now we've done one thing where instead of writing right before you go to sleep, writing is a separate thing. You go to your typewriter and you sit down to write, and that just burns through the rest of the day.
I see.
So maybe you wake up, you do a couple things. You always close your day with writing. It's just, I guess, a habit that your character's got, right?
So it's not like you have to go strictly to 10 a.m. to work and
No.
you have these time limits and stuff. Okay.
No, there are certain things that run early in the day or later in the day, but for the most part, you're a pretty free flowing person. You don't have a real schedule other than you got to be at your book reading on time.
And there's a
That's,
question.
There's actually another question from chat here, and this is regarding the funding of the first game, I think. So, Tikenjia asks if you have got any help in funding the game, like from some independent funds.
So we actually have been pretty fortunate with the new game. Sometimes Always Monsters has been supported by the OMDC here in Canada. They matched our contribution to the game and I think mostly. And then I don't remember the math on it. But they definitely provided us some funds to make this thing. Great stuff.
Nice.
I love being in Canada.
That's a great thing to hear, yeah.
And there's a question from Alanar. Easter eggs. This is the question. Just Easter eggs.
Just the word Easter eggs?
Yes.
I thought you was asking if there was Outstarwalker Easter eggs.
No, just Justin's Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. Yeah, I guess there's. I mean, the whole game is just Easter eggs after Easter eggs, right? It's just the concept of an Easter egg is lost on me because it's like stuff that's hard to find in a game. All of the stuff in this game is hard to find, right? Like,
well, I guess that kind of depends, because didn't the first game have, like, Jim Sterling in it? Or something like that?
Oh, you mean James Starling? I like that cameo, yeah. It was, I'm a big fan, I've watched the show for a long time, so I thought it would be fun to...
I remember that Always Sometimes Monsters had a lot of wings to the politics, and there was this whole party that you could get involved in and help them somehow and rig some presidential elections and stuff. Do you plan to get some political themes in the next game, especially in the shadow of a Trump incoming and stuff like that?
It's so easy. It feels like we've taken Rob Ford and given him an even bigger megaphone somehow. The spirit of Rob Ford has extrapolated into a Donald Trump, I guess. I don't know. I'm interested in politics, but only marginally as a observer from the outside. It's more like I like that whole sequence wasn't necessarily about any specific political views that actually exist at a time, because if you think about the setup of a union or anti-union workers striking against a union, and the union is working with the corporate, it's actually really backwards, and like that doesn't happen in reality. Right, so I tried to like make it strange enough so that like you can come at it from any position and sort of just recognize that the core issue is that there's a discontent in when people try to take power. That's really what it's all about. And when there's power up for grabs, all of the people, doesn't really matter what the affiliations are. Everyone's suffering.
So like there's no political agenda in the first game. There won't be in the second game, right?
No, it's funny because like people get into this idea that the game has a political agenda because it does a good job of reinforcing your own political agenda as you play it. So like some people will go through it and they're very left-leaning people, so they'll say, oh, the game's very left-leaning. No, that's just the choices you've made throughout it. Somebody else with a right-leaning approach would have a different experience, and that's sort of the balance. And people come away thinking the game is this or that, and really it's everything.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I bought this game. I definitely want to play this now. So I just, while you were talking, run off and bought it.
I think you will enjoy it, but this is the thing, actually. I can't say that you will enjoy the game, because there are, as Justin said, parts that are not enjoyable by default and by the developer's thoughts. That this terrible boxing part, like you have to move the boxes for a few hours. This was freaking terrible. But no, really. But the game is actually giving you a lot of thoughts, and I think this is important because different games can bring you different feelings, and you can get entertainment, you can get relax from Stardew Valley, but you can also get, play Dear Esther or play Always Sometimes Monsters or play, Firewatch. probably and feel something from it. And there's of course a question on the chat for the developer: are you currently playing Stardew Valley? So Justin answered us before the podcast that he didn't succumb to this, and I think the proof for that is that he's here, because he wouldn't be there. But the question connected to Stardew Valley: will there be more fishing in Sometimes Always Monsters?
So here, actually, this ties back to an earlier question. You asked if anything got cut from ASM, and
They cut the fishing.
There was a very, very elaborate extension to the fishing system that I had designed. I don't know if it's going to make it back. We have actually, so the cities you go through, actually, they're way more diverse in terms of their aesthetic. So like the first town is called Portsmouth, and it's a lot like, Dubstown in a lot of ways. It's a modern city. And then Sequoia is like this desert town, like in the middle of Arizona, if you can imagine, I guess. And we have a place that's like on a waterfront. So, there's, I don't know, I don't want to make a promise for fishing, but I do like fishing mechanics. Yes.
Yeah, the fishing was pretty cool part in the first game. And the last question, one of the last questions, if the chat has more, of course, because I think that could maybe go big. What are the games you are playing now or were playing in the past few months? If there were any, because I know that developer work is pretty consuming, but maybe.
We have a pretty steady ritual here at the house with Smash Bros. Like on a daily basis. It's not healthy, but it gets our day going. So I'm all for it. But on my own, I tried HTC Vive last night for the first time. That was that was really impressive. I mean, obviously there's still always improvements, and I did punch a wall once, but it's really good. I really think it's good.
So what I'm hearing is that Sometimes Always Monsters will have Vive support.
Oh, undoubtedly. It's going to be great. It's just, imagine the tiny pixel people, but like right up in your face.
Wonderful!
I want this.
It's the future! Immersive.
Now.
I have an Oculus DK2, and I did try the virtual desktop and tried working on Sometimes Always Monsters in virtual reality before through a virtual desktop.
I'm throwing dollars at the screen right now. Let me just do that one more time.
Make it rain.
for Sometimes Always Monsters in VR. I think it's a big plan.
But yeah, I talked with you last time, and I heard that you had some plans for the VR, and.
Oh. Yeah.
Are you doing something with this? If we could ask, of course.
It's like it's super. It's so ambitious. It sucks. It's so ambitious. It sucks. It's one of these things that I think I'm gonna probably be working on for a long time before I ever speak about it publicly. But I've got I look at the way the technology is being brought into society, and I see a narrative developing about where we're headed and what life is going to become. And I'm really interested in telling this story at a time where it can, I guess, help direct us in the right path, because I see a lot of dangers in like the seclusion factor, all of these things that we want to, cocoon ourselves even more in personal realities that are confined and they're just for us. And I have the story to tell. Whether I get to tell it or not is, I guess, up to the world.
Okay, I see. This is really interesting. But still, are you working on other projects separately from Sometimes Always Monsters, or are you working on SAM only right now?
The work I do on the VR projects are all conceptual, design docs, planning, recruiting when I can, like all these little things. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get Sometimes Always Monsters out this year, so we're working pretty hard on that. That's our big focus.
Any idea of like a price point or anything like that at this point?
Yeah, we've got $15 on the website right now, but that's I can always charge more if I want to.
DLC.
Is there any current pre-order you have on your page, or?
Yeah. If you go to vagabonddog.com/store, you can buy all the games. We have these awesome T-shirts that you can get if you like Vagabond Dog a lot. We got posters, all kinds of stuff. We'll ship it to your house. Doesn't matter where you are.
Merch. You can never have enough merch.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can't.
no.
It's true.
What about the planned release date for Sometimes Always Monster?
Yeah, it's this year, and is sometime within this year. It'll be there. I don't know when.
Between now and 2017.
I like leaving people anticipating, and I hate breaking people's hearts, so I'm gonna keep quiet on it.
Okay, that's cool. I'm really happy that you are working on a second game, because I really enjoyed the first one, and I really hope my colleagues from this podcast will play the game, and people in the chat too, because I think it's worth it. It's worth it. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Definitely interesting.
Thank you
very much, Justin, for joining us on this podcast. Justin,
How could you?
For joining us on this podcast. I apologize for not being able to say your name at all, but thank you very much for talking to us about this game. Definitely very interested in it, and Always Sometimes Monsters, I believe, is available on GOG.com. Coming, hopefully, sometime this year, you'll be able to find Sometimes Always Monsters as well. So, if there's anybody in chat interested in following you or your company, do you have, like, Twitter, Facebook, website, YouTube, Instagram? Go.
Yeah. At Vagabond Dog is our Twitter account. I am at Keaton, Keadin, on Twitter if you want more insane ramblings. And you can always find us at vagabonddog.com. Yeah, pretty easy to find.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a real lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
All right, and once the game comes out, we'd be happy to have you back here on GOGCast with our usual host, Mike Smith.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you.
All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Long, awkward goodbyes. He hung up on me. I didn't even get the chance to hang up on him. He hung up on me.
You hung up. No, you hung up.
All right.
And I think now your setup will be destroyed by.
It is a little bit. Give me but a moment to try to fix the wonkiness here. In the meantime, if one
always looks like that.
One of our lovely and beautiful mods would be so kind as to run our usual podcast raffle, then I
could do
will
that.
highly appreciate it as we get ready to move on to the next section of the podcast. Of course, this is the GOGCast, the one and only GOG.com podcast. It's the only one you got, whether or not you like it or you don't. It's the one you have. So, you gotta deal with it.
The raffle is open now. Raffle is open now, guys. Type exclamation mark raffle for a chance to win $9.99 on GOG.
Yes.
And you can win the money. You can win the money. I'm throwing dollars at you. I don't know why. Oh my god! my lucky dollar just went somewhere out of the window. Anyway.
I would also like to note that the GOG.com podcast is now available in audio-only format. That has finally come to fruition. If you follow this link right here to our SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/GOG.com/sets/GOGScast, you can then listen to us on that. Unfortunately, Outstar's face was being covered by the chat right now. Darksaber is Outstar. Outstar is Darksaber. Dogs and cats are living together. Horrible things are happening in the name of science.
I've become chat.
I'm just watching on my tablet what's happening
all
on the
right.
stream right now, and I'm like,
hey, I've seen this kind of thing happen when Mike was in charge, so I'm still okay. We're on par here. I also, I realized, like, halfway through with Justin that I actually didn't have the webpage of our list of things to talk about open, so I had to figure out how to open that without covering everybody's webcam. But
Wonderful, wonderful. Anyway, I have a little announcement to make for those of you who don't know yet. I think most of you know, but there is a little thing that appears on our Twitch channel that you can see next to the game being played. Right now, there's no game; it's just the gaming talk shows. But below the title of the stream, you have this little GOGCast stream team link, and this is a link to the stream team of us GOG streamers, and any time of the day you can just click on that, just bookmark that and go to that page to see if any one of us is streaming, because all of our 21 streamers as for now have private channels and we stream there. You could also use multi-twitch if you want to watch some of us doing the stream during the GOGCast schedule, or when there is a pause in the schedule you can go there and check out if someone is streaming. So yeah, feel invited to bookmark this little page because I think it's awesome. I will also, it's not awesome yet because I have to pimp it up a little bit, but it is there, so I'm happy with this.
21 people. There's 21 people in the stream team. Holy crap.
Sometimes you can even find one of us not doing Stardew Valley.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now we have 13 members of Stream Team because we lost 8 of them to the Stardew Valley.
Speaking of Stardew Valley, if somebody would be ever so kind as to end our raffle, we can move on to the next segment and let Outstar speak for about 5 more hours. Because we are going to get the chance to talk about...
Or shall we ruin her day and just say this topic is banned?
In the sake of time, we will not be talking about Stardew Valley, but instead talk about everything else.
Bodgum has won the raffle, and I am okay with not talking about Stardew Valley because we have another player of this game in here, and I'm pointing in which direction? This direction. This one. Here. There's a guy.
All right.
So,
we might talk about it a little bit later, but we're going to start off. There's quite a bit of new releases available on GOG.com. So we will start the game with Master of Orion Remake. Who has played it?
Because
who will talk about it?
Before people will go away, we'll also say about releases that were not released yet and that you may not heard about today. We'll talk about them later.
Some of them, yes.
Magic will happen.
Magic will happen.
Right. No, but really,
no one played Master of Orion here.
We always play the who's played this game here for the releases. Has anybody played Master of Orion Remake or Original?
I used to play the original. It was the first game I bought on GOG when I joined the site, was Master of Orion 1 and 2.
Okay.
But I haven't got round to the remake yet.
What is Master of Orion? Oh, also abbreviated to Moo.
Moo. Yes, best acronym in gaming, possibly. Except maybe COD.
We have a bot for mooing.
Yeah, MooBot as well. Master of Orion bot now.
Exactly.
But for those of you who don't know, Master of Orion is a Space 4X game. The old, I always forget what they were. Is it Expand, Exploit, Explore, and Exterminate? So it's a turn-based space strategies. So where you build up an empire, and you build up massive fleets, you meet interesting people, you exterminate them, and nick their planets. At least that's how I play it.
Go to space, meet interesting people, kill them, and take their stuff.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
And this is... basically they've just released a sort of remake / reboot of the series, which I saw Pyron Jade do a release stream of the other day. It looks jolly good.
Unfortunately, Pyron Jade is not here.
I can tell you something from the backstage, though, although Pyron Jade will probably kill me. Pyron Jade was a little bit salty about this game when it came out and when she tried it out, because there was one race. I think there was cat people or lizard people. I don't know which ones. But in the original series, they were super hardcore, those super ugly creatures that didn't really resemble humans. And in the new game, in the remastered ones, you have this lady that is very boobastic. And she's like, oh, I am the leader of this race, and I am totally not looking human and sexual.
The boob kitties. Yeah.
So this game has some boobs, if you are interested.
Master of Orion is not still in development. Takana, it is fully out right now and available on GOG.com.
It is JID. No. It is JID. It is JID. I mean JD.
What?
Yeah.
It is the game in development, so GID, so GID as we call it. It is GID.
Yeah, I'll just double check. Definitely.
Okay, all right,
It is-
fine. But I was wrong.
Sorry.
Excuse me. The only thing I know about it is that it's got Mark Hamill in it. It's got the
yeah.
guy who played Worf in it. It's got other people in it.
It's got John Delancey, who did Q in Star Trek.
That's right.
And there's boobs.
Yep.
Well, there you go. All right, on that amazing note, we'll move on to a game that doesn't have any of those, called Super Hot. Or should I say, Super
Hot.
Hot.
Super
Super
hot.
hot.
Come on, chat.
I have not had the
So, okay,
chance
the story-
to play Super Hot.
this-
It looks interesting. It is based off of a Ludum Dare game, which is interesting. So Ludum Dare, if you guys don't know what that is a competition. It's a game jam that you have like 3 days to make a game. They made the demo version of Super Hot, and then they made a full game out of it, and the internet loves it. Who here's
Yeah.
played it?
I know the guys that made the game. I mean, kinda. I know one of the original creators of the idea, and I know the art director of the game. And I have some stories. One of the stories is that I was on one of the Polish festivals, gaming festivals. I think it was PGA in Poznań, and they had their booth in there when they showed Super Hot, an early build to people. And for one of the days that I was there, they were actually no developers, or they were drinking, which is highly possible because on Polish conventions, people are usually just out of the conventions drinking vodka and not actually hanging out with people. But there was a booth, empty booth with no people inside, and there was one TV, like CRT TV, like this old, small TV that is like has a huge bottom, and there was Super Hot in it, and it constantly emitted sound, super hot for the whole day. And not only, I mean, it was slightly weird for people passing by, of course. It was interesting, and people were like, oh my god, it's super hot, it's amazing. But I am a little bit feeling bad for the developers that had their booths around it, because imagine 8 days.
We're
of
so
constant
tired of hearing Super Hot.
So yeah, I think other devs hate the game right now, but I am super excited for it, and I'm super excited for the Killstagram idea. Actually, I don't know. I think the contest is still on. There was a
Let
contest.
me have a check.
Yeah, you check Darksaber. There's a contest on GOG, the Killstagram contest. So you have to upload your replays of your best shootings in the game to the Killstagram, and you can win sweet stuff from GOG. Is it on, Darksaber?
It is on until March the 8th at 3:59 p.m. GMT, and I will post a link to the whole article on GOG about that in the chat now. There we go.
Now, the interesting
Wonder
thing...
Red guys, win stuff.
The interesting thing about the replay system in that game is that the whole idea behind Super Hot is you're kind of controlling time. Well, you're not really controlling time as you move. Time moves very slowly if you're not doing anything, but as you input commands to move around, because it's a first-person shooter, you want to kill the bad guys and not die. As you move around, the time speeds up back to normal, so you can like shoot bullets, throw swords, grab guns out of the air, punch people in the face, punch somebody in the face, knock the gun out of their hand, possess them, grab the gun that you knocked out of their hand, and shoot the person you just were in the face. That can happen, but in the replay system, that gets rid of all of the slowdown and just shows it all in normal time. So in the replay, it looks like these people are making split millisecond decisions on what they're doing, and it looks crazy. They're actually not moving that fast, but it's still nuts. It's just nuts.
Amazing.
I need to buy that. It just looks fantastic. It almost like remind me a lot of Hotline Miami, with just the sort of precision violence you have to do to survive, and you can die in one hit, and everyone else dies in one hit.
Memories
There's no
of
way-
A first-person Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
That's what
I've
I
heard
get
that
from
a
it.
couple of times.
That's the vibe I
actually.
get from it. Yeah.
It does. The
There's no-
doors. It doesn't have doors, and they don't glitch enough to be Hotline Miami.
I just realized that there is no better advertisement for a game than strategic violence. This is amazing.
The only thing that
Oh,
I've
Memory
heard.
Snippets.
bad
AB just
about...
posted his replays in the chat, so just, sorry.
Yes.
I'm
The only thing I've
hanging.
heard bad about Superhot is that supposedly it's kind of short, but it's got a whole ton of challenges. And Manners and Ethan said earlier in chat in the chat for GOGCom that he's put 15 hours into the game. 15. It's a lot.
I think it's his Stardew Valley, I think.
No, but it's like it's important because the basic game was it got the criticism about being too short. So people are finishing this game in 2 hours and saying that I'm not doing anything again. But on the other hand, I can finish one run in Binding of Isaac in 1 hour if I'm lucky. But it doesn't make me stop playing the game, and I'm replaying it all over again because I want to have all achievements. And I don't know many times I replayed Binding. It's probably 100, but still.
I don't know. I think the thing is with a game like The Binding of Isaac, you are constantly unlocking stuff. Whereas Superhot's not a roguelike. So every time you play every level in Superhot, it's generally going to be the same. It's just about finding different ways of doing the exact same thing. I've also heard that a lot of people are kind of tired of the whole meta idea that Superhot goes for, because apparently in Superhot, the game is game in the game. Superhot is a game within the universe of the game you're playing. Kind of like Pony Island, which was another game that came out recently on GOG.com.
I think Omicron the Nomad Soul did something similar as well, which Donis Plays is doing. That's like you're a player who enters the game.
Yes, but that game had
actually
David
it's
Bowie. These
interesting.
other games don't have David Bowie. And they're worse for
I
that.
think it's interesting because Superhot is acknowledging you as a player playing the game. And it's pretty interesting. And I don't know how the story goes because I haven't finished the game myself. But from the beginning I saw on Memories in 8-bit stream, it seemed really interesting. And, maybe people are just tired of the whole meta thingy after all those meta games that were released in the past years. And all those games acknowledging more and more that you're a player and winking to the player. That this is like this effect of getting your hand out of the screen, right? So like the moment in movies when actors are turning their faces to the camera and acknowledging you as a viewer and talking to you.
Right.
So this is sometimes weird, right? And maybe it's because some games overused that in the past. And we have Pony Island that was released just a while ago and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't judge because I haven't finished the game.
I've heard this as a criticism against Superhot, but I'm trying to think of many games that have done that. And the only ones I can think of are, you got Pony Island, you've got Omicron, you've got Deadpool. Because he's Deadpool, Deadpool's a game Deadpool's making in Deadpool. So...
It's a great game.
But outside of that,
And
I can't think of a ton of games that are like that. You have games that are about games, but these aren't necessarily games that are about games. They're just games that know they're games. Because you got stuff like the Stanley Parable, that's a game that's about games. But this is more of a game that knows it is, not that necessarily that it's about trying to teach you game design or something like that.
Kind of. I really want to play TIS-100 on stream one day, just to totally embarrass myself as a person who can't think, but also to... because TIS-100 was interesting. I don't know if you remember, it's a game about coding. You basically have to code through the nodes and get somehow from point A to point B by doing mathematical equations, which is freaking hard.
So it's like a really hard version of Human Resource Machine.
Kinda, but like it's the level of this. There's actually a graph online that you can find showing you the levels of games. So on the first level you have The Sims, you have Farmville, you have Stardew Valley. On the second level you have Doom maybe, or some FPS games, some League of Legends, maybe some games that you have to actually give some time to learn. Then you have games like roguelites, actually not the roguelikes, but roguelites. Then you have games like Dwarf Fortress, like Rogue, like the old Rogue, and it goes deeper down. And on the bottom of this hell, there's TIS-100, and there's nothing below that. So
it just looks scary and confusing to me.
I've
scary,
heard
confusing, and
it
underground.
somewhat compared to a game like Space Cam. Because Space Chem is a game where you get to the point where you have to kind of actually learn science if you want to keep playing and get better at the game.
Awesome! I want to play this now.
So I've heard a lot of people. It's like people who are into that, and if TS100 is kind of like that. It's like if you're a coder, you'll probably really like the game. But if you're not a coder, you'll have to kind of learn how to code just to play the game. And if you don't want to dive into that, that may not be something that you're interested in. But TS100 is also available on GOG.com.
Yeah, we have a person in the chat who actually played this game, and I just want to read very quickly, because Chris64, I was on his streams when he streamed that game, and he was kind of good in it. So he said that that's not the reason TS100 is hard. It lacks a stack and uses a weird node-based approach, making the programs a terrible mess and tedious. The general idea how to achieve something is clear, it's just annoying to climb to that goal, which is really, I think, the very good explanation of how the game difficulty level is.
I'd also like to say, because Jim NMS raised the point that I was trying to make then as well, is it's also made by the same devs as Space Chem.
Is it?
Which is a game that made my brain bleed.
Well, that explains why I was talking earlier about it, being compared to Space Chem. It's made by the same people. All right. On that note, Let's talk about something that's not quite so complicated. Let's talk about Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. For those of you who don't know, Shantae is a series of platform games made by WayForward Technologies. The first game in the series came out on the Game Boy Color, of all things. The very first Shantae game. And then they've been working their way... I think a couple of them got remade, I think, and then they've been working their way over to the PC, and now they've started working their way onto GOG.com. Have any of you guys played this? I haven't really played much in the Shantae series. All I know is that she's like this lady that's half a genie and half human, and she kills people with her hair, which is very metal. It's a very metal thing to do.
There's 3 words I need to say to that. I need that. Really, for serious, I think I have both games now on my wish list, and I really need to get to play them some point. Oh dang, I would so love to do that because I love platformers, and it looked so awesome as it's lots of platforming, and it also seemed to have an appealing difficulty level. Let's just say that.
Appealing? You could say it was bananas. That's funny because in one of the games she actually could turn into a monkey. That was a thing.
And she's a
I love platformers, and I love challenging platformers, and it looked like it could be up to the task.
I want to actually... I saw the stream of the game, and I saw plenty of streams of other Shantae games. The problem is no one actually did the stream in the proper cosplay, because for Shantae you need the belly dancer cosplay, so I am waiting for Darksaber2k to do a stream of this game in the belly dancing cosplay.
Oh no!
I really want that.
You gotta do it now. Outstar's the boss. You gotta do it now.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, but Flayos actually got a tutu on his stream, so you have to step up the game, Darksaber. You're new in here. I am just... You have to prove yourself, okay?
Oh no. I'm an adult. A different adult.
Speaking of which, I kind of want to ask, because when we will go from the game to game, we'll forget to say that Darksaber2k, who is our guest today, he's our new streamer, and he's new in the stream team. He just did his first stream on Monday.
That's right.
And I want to ask you, man, how do you feel now after being in the team and stuff?
I'm still really, really excited. I mean, it's been a really surreal sort of month for me, really, pretty much starting with when you guys invited me to take part in the Unreal Tournament Championship to celebrate getting partnered, and just sort of since then, like when you guys started hosting me when I was doing my Long Dark streams, and everyone's just been so fantastically amazing, supportive, encouraging, and like seriously, if you guys weren't like one of the best damn communities on Twitch, I probably wouldn't have had the confidence to even apply, and now I'm here. It's just a dream come true almost, because it's just crazy.
You're getting
and
those.
I just look forward to doing more stuff.
You're getting those brownie points with chat. The more you compliment them, keep going, keep going.
They're amazing guys. Like some of them, even before like I was on like the tournament and stuff, like we would just be talking about a game, and I'll just mention like, oh yeah, I've been streaming that, and they're like, wait, you stream? It's like, yeah, because I don't jump in chats and go, everybody watch me, because that always seems a bit rude to join someone else's channel and say that. But people found their way over to me, and then they've just generally been saying like, dude, you should apply. You'd probably fit in quite well. And it's like, yeah, but self-confidence issues sometimes and things like that. And see, I'm starting to babble again because of how happy I am to be here.
Well, it's funny because it reminds me of the times when I was invited, and it was in the times when GDOG was the one who invited people. And I was, back in the days, I was streaming on my own channel, and I was streaming with just for a few people. I was not caring for anything. I was drinking cider on streams, and I was just like, yeah, there's it, fuck yeah. And it was pretty fun because one of those streams when I actually stream a bird story. It's a game with no dialogue. And it's a very, very sad game, that's which you cry. And I was drinking, I was playing this game on stream, and I was crying. And this was the day when GDOG went to my stream. And I was like, oh my god, this is so sad. And afterwards, he was just, my friend told me from the conversation with him, he was like, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to invite her in. And they took a risk. They took a big risk. So with you, there was no risk, and we were super happy to have you in the team. And
yeah, I mean, I heard you saying like it was pretty much a unanimous decision when I applied, and that was just so flattering and just amazing. Like it really meant a lot to me that you guys, felt that I was someone who would fit in. Really.
Yay! Just that.
They snuck you in on the week I was off, so I'm glad to find that everything turned out for the best.
Yeah,
I didn't get a say in the matter, so you'll never know if I would have been like yes or no. Who knows?
Yeah, Pieman basically wanted to kick us all from the team and just stream alone for 24 hours per day. But
No.
then he decided that he would be too bored with that.
If I wanted to do that, I would resurrect my own channel and stream for the lovely 0 to 1 audience I have over there.
That's so true.
Well, it's very true. It's very true.
Okay, guys, games.
Back
Let's
to
go for games, man.
All right, so I guess we talked everything we could about Shantae. The only thing last I had to say about that is that even though it's a platformer, it's kind of open worldy. It's not what you would call a Metroidvania, but it's kind of open worldy where you go from town to town. I don't know if the Pirate's Curse is like that or not, but it's available on GOG.com right now. So if you would like to play that game, head over there. There's also a bunch of other Way4 Technology games, like another Shantae games. Blood Rain Betrayal's on there. The game's fantastic. And a few other things. But another game that came out just today is Lethis Path of Progress. Has any of you played this game?
You played the game. So
I
you
did
talk
play
about
the
it.
game, and I could talk a lot about it. But before I go off monologuing like the evil genius that I am, I thought I would ask if any of you have input.
No,
Give you
Pi,
permission for
I
an
did
evil
not
monologue.
play the game, but I opened the shop site for it, and there's this huge banner with 3 people creepily staring at me, which will haunt me for the rest of my life, I guess. It seems like a city builder, but I have no clue what it's about.
Lethis
So,
Path of Progress
please explain.
is a city builder in the vein of games like Pharaoh, Caesar, Zeus, as well as Cleopatra and Poseidon. So it's the kind of city builder where you need to place buildings, and then the buildings will be employed by people living nearby, and then they'll create the people who will then walk paths around your houses. So say you have houses in a square, those houses need a maintenance guy or they'll fall apart. So you build a maintenance place, the people in the houses get a job at the maintenance place, and then they walk around the roads around the houses and stop the houses from falling apart. Every single person that walks around who uses this pathing system, they have like a certain amount of energy or whatever, so when they run out of that, then they'll have to go back and restock, and they'll do that constantly. So the reason why that's very important is because a lot of the time you'll want to upgrades your housing. Houses upgrade depending upon what's around them, so they need access to food, they need access to water, they need access to utensils, herbs, they need to be in a desirable place, they need access to the theater, they need access to a whole bunch of different things depending upon what level of house you need to level it up to. And you also need to have taxes so you can get money so you can buy things. There's an industry thing with farming. And the unique thing to Lethis Path of Progress is that it actually has some sort of steampunk elements into the game. So steam is something that you can get. You build extractors and you build a converter and you build pipes all over the place to collect steam and use steam to power like drills and whatnot for your economy, to try to make money and try to make sure everything doesn't fall apart around you.
Does that mean people still like to burn down their own houses as they did in Pharaoh?
There aren't fires. Houses will collapse, so they won't catch on fire. Even though there's steam,
Okay,
nobody
that's an
uses
improvement.
fire in Lethis for some reason. I don't know how that works. But there's
Oh
actually
my god, this,
there's a really cool thing
This-
where you can build an automaton factory that will then manufacture specific automatons that you then have to use at the rich part, because there's two classes in the game. You've got the working class and you've got the rich class, and the rich class needs all of their own stuff because they're a bunch of stuck-up freaking jerks. So they need automatons to work for them. And they need access to the cafe so they can chatter with all their friends and other
La
lovely
la.
nonsense. Yes, chatter with their friends. And it's a really interesting game, but I came to the conclusion, I figured this out, playing through the tutorial, I didn't have this issue, but playing through the first level of the game, I didn't beat the first level of the game, mainly because I didn't really know how to make the city part, because I didn't realize how the pathing worked. Now, in Pharaoh, I never had an issue with pathing. Never. Even though, I mean, I don't remember if I ever beat Pharaoh, but I do remember that I never had an issue with pathing. If there was, like, if a building was falling down, you build, like, a new fireplace, and then it's good to go. But Lethis's pathing isn't like that. You've got to very, very much be focused on what's called blocks. You've got to be extremely focused on that. Make sure that you build separate, sustainable blocks, or you're not going to get anything done. In Pharaoh, I never had to learn how to make a block. I never made blocks at all playing that game. But in Lethis, I couldn't beat level 1 without figuring it out. I'm still trying to figure out how to make a good, successful block, and what I mean by a block is that you have all of the buildings that you need sort of in one area. Like, you'll take a 2x2 space, fill that up with the service buildings you need to service houses, have houses down a line, and then loop that area off with a road, and place blockers which will stop the people from your service buildings from going over to other houses that are farther away. Because every time a person goes to an intersection, the game makes a decision as to whether they'll go where you want them to go, or whether they'll just go somewhere else and who the crap knows. So you have to be extremely focused on pathing in Lethis. And I wasn't expecting that, since my previous experience, like I said, was with Pharaoh, and I never had that problem. Never had that problem.
okay, my opinion of the game is that, 100 years ago, roughly in 20s, some parents actually, you could buy in a pharmacy this heroin syrups that were calming their children. You gave the stuff to your children to make them calm down. So the banner of this game on GOG is actually showing one of those kids, because this kid is like, basically this. It's really creeping me out, and I will dream about it today.
They're happy to be living in their horrible steampunk city. It's going to crumble down around them. They just don't realize it yet, because the person in charge is highly incompetent. They don't know. They gotta wait and
However,
find
I
out,
love
but
the
they're
facial
optimistic.
expression of the woman. She's just like, "Yep, told you."
Mother, I don't want to go down the mine today.
It's creepy. The game looks wonderful. I mean, just from the looks, it's just I love those dim
The
colors.
artwork is
in the-
fantastic. It's got kind of like a Studio Ghibli sort of vibe to the artwork. When you boot the game up, there's this really cool 2D animation that plays. And the interesting thing about it that I found is apparently there was a MMO at one point in the works called Steam of Lethis that I think takes place in the same universe. I'm not sure if it's by the same devs, but I mean, it uses the exact same art style. It uses the Lethis name. I have no idea if that's still in development or not. I don't know if this is what that eventually, if Path of Progress is what that eventually turned into. I have no idea. But apparently at some, I mean, the devs put a whole lot of work into the visuals. It's a shame that the game's pathing is very weird, and it's a shame that there isn't that much complexity to the game. For like a game like Pharaoh, you had to worry about keeping the gods happy, but it doesn't have anything like that with Lethis. There's nothing of that. It just seems like, to me, there's a perfect way to build every single level, and if you don't figure that out, you're probably not going to do that great.
Just like Ryosenshu playing Stardew Valley. Ryosenshu just told us that he did everything in the spring of the year 2. He just finished building everything. He was power playing it. It's like, I don't know if you have it with other games, but if you learn how to do something perfectly and it actually works on every level of a game, you stop playing because it's not working. It's not fun anymore. It's working. I mean, you make money and you make everyone happy in the game, but it's not fun anymore.
Every single level in Lethis, they do have like objectives, so you kind of have to edit what you're doing. But from what I've seen, it's like once you figure out how to make a block that fills all the needs you need to fill, that you're done. Because all you gotta do is make that block over and over and over and over and over again. Like, there's a lot of people who have made what are repeatable blocks that are specifically designed to just indefinitely repeat, and they'll always fill all of the needs all of the time. It's like at that point, there's no reason not to make that. You figured the whole game out. There's like nothing else to do.
Is there the same way to play SimCity, for example, or is that like no way to create something like that?
I don't know if there's like a perfect SimCity. I think there've been a couple of people who've tried to do a perfect SimCity, but I don't know if anyone's figured it out.
So I think it's actually a disadvantage for a city builder that if you can easily figure out the perfect layout.
Oh, I didn't say easily. I had to go to the internet to figure out the block system.
Okay,
but
I see.
The game doesn't teach you how to make. If the game kind of was based off that and sort of taught you how to make a block system, I guess maybe that would be a bit more interesting. But it seemed to be, without knowing how to make a block, I did horrible. With knowing how to make a block, it was all about figuring out how to make the best block and less about anything else.
I see.
It's an interesting game. It's available on GOG.com if you want to pick it up if you're interested in Pharaoh-like city builders. I wouldn't say it's not worth checking out, but it does have a couple of issues. On that note, let's move to the elephant in the room we've been staying away from. Let's talk about Elven Legacy Collection, which is...
Oh, you tease.
I believe is available for pre-order on GOG.com.
Yep.
Does anybody know what that is?
Now?
I don't know what that is.
Well, let me just tell you. The shadows of destruction begin to loom on the horizon once the human mage uncovers a dark and powerful secret dating back to remote past of the elven race. However, the elves cannot allow this forbidden knowledge to fall into the hands of others and thus imperil the world. It's a turn-based strategy about elves. Yay.
All right.
That's all. I don't know. I haven't played it. But
Elven Legacy,
okay.
I assume, is about the Elven Legacy.
It looks kind of like Heroes of Might and Magic 5 on what we can see, but it's actually a turn-based strategy, so I think it's more like I don't know. I have this Spellcraft vibe from it, but Spellcraft is actually an RTS. But still, I could have tried it. And there is one review right now on the GOG which is saying that it's an excellent gameplay. Hex-based TBS game with excellent gameplay, 5 out of 5.
Is it fully
So-
released? It's not released yet. It's not. I mean, you can't pre-order it because it came out in like 2009. Somebody in chat says.
It is fully released on GOG right now. It's not in early access or anything. You can buy it right now.
Then why did you
6
agree with me when I said that it's pre-order? Come on.
Did I?
I just agreed to get to Stardew Valley.
No, we were
It's like,
talking about.
yeah.
It was the other game. We are talking about Master of Orion, I think.
Master of Orion's on GID, and that's not
Yeah.
pre-order. Anyway, moving on. Other
I
games
know,
that
I'm
aren't out
sorry.
yet. Hyper Light Drifter is on its way to GOG.com. We had the developer of Hyper Light Drifter on a few weeks ago, I believe, on the GOGCast. We talked about it a lot, so if you're interested in that, you can head over to youtube.com/GOGCom, and you can watch our previous YouTube videos of the podcast, or you can head over to soundcloud.com/GOGcast, and you can check it out on one of our previous audio-only podcasts. It's the same podcast, it just doesn't have the video. So if you're interested in that game, you can listen to us go on and on and on and on and on and on about that
If you hate
particular
our
game.
faces, check out the SoundCloud.
Yes, if you hate the slideshow you're seeing here because every 5 seconds the cams all freeze, which made for some hilarious screenshots when Justin was here while he was talking. It was hard not to laugh. But another game that's coming up is Into the Stars.
Yes.
No idea what that is.
Darksaber, talk about it.
I am really looking forward to this game. It was a kickstarted game, basically billed as a flashier version of FTL. Let me just pull up the page here so I can actually have something to refer to. But essentially, it seems to follow the same sort of vibe as FTL. Hang on, where are we? Come here, you little bugger. Upcoming. There we are. I'm so professional. Here we go. So basically, for the last 10 years, Earth has been under attack. Every 6 months, an alien race has been turning up hellbent on destroying us. Apparently, they're not very good at it because they have been trying this for 10 years now. But basically,
And they're
you are
still
in
trying.
command.
I
They're
mean,
still trying, yeah.
They gotta
And
be
you are
bad
in
because the
charge-
aliens in XCOM 2 took over the Earth in what, 2 months?
Yeah, even if you win the first game, which annoyed me.
But in XCOM 2, you actually have a gun next to the face of the alien and tells you that you have 60% of shooting him. So come on.
Yeah, so basically, this is billed as an open-world space survival sim where you take control of a massive arc ship with about 10,000 colonists on board. So it's got a bit of a Battlestar Galactica kind of vibe to it, where you have to basically make your way from one end of the galaxy to the other to a world you're going to colonize and make a safe haven, obviously being pursued by the aliens along the way. And you choose your crew. You can name your crew, which is always a nice thing. That way I can get all my friends killed.
Mm-hmm. You can name your
And
crew
everything-
just in time for them to all horribly die.
Yeah, or you can just keep naming. You can make one person do sanitation duty all the time if they've been annoying lately, and things like that. So I've had my eye on it for a while, and I'm very excited to see it due out very soon from the looks of things.
Well, here's the
Lots
question.
of random events.
The game is currently available in early access format. When it releases on GOG, is it going to be a game of development, or is it going to be the full release?
It
from
will
what
be the full release, I think. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
From what I've been seeing on the developer blogs, this is basically final release that they're gearing up for here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Jack Wall of Mass Effect soundtrack fame is doing the score for it, so I'm really excited to hear the sort of music we'll be getting, because Mass Effect had a fantastic soundtrack.
I'm going to take a guess. It's going to be space orchestral.
Probably, yes. Works for me.
All right, that is Into the Stars, coming soon to GOG.com. Another game coming soon to GOG. Moon. There's a lot of games dealing with space, I'm noticing. We got Moon Hunters. Does anybody know anything about Moon Hunters? I don't.
About Moon Hunters, we will do a stream with a multiplayer because this game is actually thought to have either 4-player couch co-op that you can do locally on your very couch, but also it has an online multiplayer. So we are planning to launch this game with a multiplayer stream for you guys. And yeah, it looks pretty interesting. It's a top-down kind of RPG-like game as far as I'm concerned. Let me just quickly peek at it. But of course, professionalism again hits again. So yeah, it's basically action adventure fantasy top down. It looks like a little bit hyper light driftery with a little bit of fast again. So it kind of reminds me of Warlocks versus Shadows, the game I played in multiplayer on my channel. So you have this very, very cute pixelated graphic, and you are it's actually called a personality test RPG.
Yep. That's what caught my interest.
Yeah,
it's called
about becoming a mythological hero in an ancient occult world. And the levels and maps are different every time, giving you new choices, enemies, and opportunities to show your personality and become a legend. So I'm really interested how this personality will develop in the multiplayer. We'll see.
Kill.
Yes, exactly.
And your result is evil bugger.
So that's all. We don't know more yet. We will play it at release.
I've definitely got my eye on that one, though. That's a very interesting sounding game at the very least.
Apparently, you get to hunt the moon. Speaking of space, Summer Roast 3 is on its way to GOG.com. Summer Roast is a very interesting point-and-click series. I don't remember the name of the developer, but it's got a very, very unique art style in which they take real-world objects and sort of like Photoshop them together to make them look like not what they are, and then they do 2D animation over top of that for all of the moving parts and characters and everything. It looks really, really cool. The original Summer Roast is free, I believe. The second one is currently available on GOG.com. And it's a tad short. It's a good game, but it's kind of short, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Summer Roast 3. They also made a game called Botnicula, which might also be available on GOG. I'm not sure about that one.
Let me check. I think that is.
I remember that Summer Roast 1 is available
Yeah.
free, right?
Yes, the first
Summer
game is
Roast
for
1
free.
Yeah, I played it in the browser back in the days, and it's very interesting. The only problem with Summer Roast 1 and 2 is the fact that those games are pretty short, and I'm wondering if the third game will be as short as the previous two ones, or maybe it will be longer. We will see. Anyway, the first two games are super interesting, and I think they're totally should be played by every fan of point and clicks.
It's definitely going to be interesting about the length, because Botnicula, I don't believe that was anywhere near as short as the previous Summer Roast games. That was like a normal length point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah, but it was still pretty short, as I remember. It was not like 20 minutes like with Summer Roast 1, because Summer Roast 1 was like literally just 20 minutes of gameplay, as far as I remember at least.
Machinarium? Did the same devs make Machinarium? Somebody in chat mentioned Machinarium.
I don't know if the same devs made it, but if so, that Machinarium was a super cool game too. I think
Machinarium is really cool. I don't know if it was the same.
They did.
Or not. They did. Wow.
They are listed as Amanita Designer, the company.
The surprising thing about that is Machinarium's completely 2D, which changes the art style, whereas everything else does the sort of 2D overlaid on real-world Photoshop together objects.
Yeah, so Mr. Zeno is asking about something that I think we skipped two things, actually, because we skipped...
we didn't skip anything, we just haven't got to it yet.
Okay, but there's a pre-order of No Man's Sky that launched today.
Available for pre-order is Shardlight Special Edition and No Man's Sky.
Yes, and about the No Man's Sky, I know that the price of the game can be a little bit intimidating because the game is right now, I think, $60, which I believe it's a little bit cheaper than on Steam, but I'm not really sure.
I don't think so.
I gotta check it out later.
Unless it's going to be like opening sale.
I know that on Steam there was some kind of a thing that the game was actually cheaper in Canadian dollars, which was really weird. Something went wrong with the original pricing. But anyway, what the No Man's Sky is, I think everyone that is like into the gaming scene and waiting for this game so much as we are in a stream team knows. The game about exploration, about naming your own planets that you find in the space. The game about naming your own species of creatures that you find in lakes, mountains, caves, everything.
Pretty. I don't care.
It's absolutely pretty.
I don't care if there's nothing to do in the whole game, but look at it. I just want to look at it. It's
Oh,
pretty.
so yeah, Christixor just wrote that we get €6 fair price on GOG. And I am actually, we are planning super huge stream events connected to the No Man's Sky. We can't spoil anything yet because everything is in preparation right now.
The main reason for
So-
that is because literally everybody on the stream team wants to stream this game, so we have to put them together for multiplayer.
We will actually test out the huge multiplayer pretty soon on the GOG.com channel because we are planning the game which we can't actually spoil you yet, guys. There is one game, very big game releasing on GOG that will allow us all to play together pretty soon, and we are planning to launch it with huge multiplayers that will involve both you guys and tons of members of the stream team. We are playing 10 at least at once. So I think this will prepare
This is
us
news to
somehow
me.
with the
I didn't know
Sky.
anything about this. Please inform me
Of
at the
course,
end
yeah.
of the podcast. I would really
Okay.
like to know.
Everything was written in the screen room today, my dear. No problem. We are planning, and we are actually planning to do some massive multiplayers, not like MMOs, but the massive multiplayers with the streamers and with chat. And I hope it will be also applicable with the No Man's Sky, because we really want to make the GOG Galaxy in the game and name the planets out of our stream team members. And
You got
also
Planet
probably-
Pieman filled with Pieman, and Mega Pieman.
Exactly. We want to cooperate with Able
Megapieman is
Gamers
sort of
charity on the
their-
streams. Yeah.
Their deity.
Exactly.
And everyone just worships him.
Exactly.
That's
Perfect.
totally how life works.
Perfect.
I heard they taste delicious.
All right. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Exactly.
we
AP
are
just said the
running
plan also is
low on
AP
time.
said that the plan Arthur is talking about is that he will stream and every other streamer will need to watch him and be jelly. Of course, that will happen. So yeah, it will happen for sure, the big stream events. We hope for events before release, but we can't promise that. We don't know the exact, we can't share the exact release date right now. And everything will come in time, but there will be many exciting releases before that, so keep in touch. And also, we missed Undertale Pie.
Let
from the-
me finish. Okay, I was saying,
Sorry.
unfortunately, we're running kind of low on time, so we're going to have to skip our normal what we've been playing sections and viewers' question sections, and we're going to have to quickly talk about Undertale, Enter the Gungeon, and the game that shall not be named. So, Undertale's game that came out on GOG.com finally, it came out on GOG.com. I had the pleasure of streaming it. I didn't really expect to like it because I thought it was going to be overrated as crap, because most games that the internet takes away with usually are. And I ended up really liking it. Go.
Good.
I-
And Undertale launches a series right after the stream. Mad Cat will stream, Chronowolf will stream Undertale Episode 1, and he will do a series out of it, so stay after the stream to check it out.
Although, if you are thinking about actually playing the game, do not watch it.
Exactly.
Go in
Yeah.
as spoiler-free as you can to this game.
I didn't kill everyone in Undertale, okay? I spared a couple people. It's not
you
my
sure?
fault.
One frog and chat did not
Alright.
let me forget it on my
It's not
streams.
my fault that I didn't want to give in to Stockholm Syndrome with the goat lady, okay? Excuse me! Alright, pardon me for living. Although, I do have to say, it's got a really unique combat system. I'm a big fan of RPGs with unique combat systems. Like, previously, one of my favorite RPGs was Boot Hill Heroes, which unfortunately is not on GOG, and it should be. GOG, get it on there. But Boot Hill Heroes has a really cool thing in which constantly throughout a battle, everyone's always filling up energy that they can use to attack, but you can also pause the game at any time. So you can have real-time turn-based, it's not even turn-based, it's real-time combat, or pause it whenever you want to. It's a really cool idea. And Undertale has the attacks are sort of like this shmup thing, where you're playing as your heart, trying to dodge all of the love coming at you. And I call it love, because that's what the game called it. It's trying to
Why
kill
do
you.
you dodge love, Pie? Why don't you just embrace love?
So, So yeah, it's
It's
got
crap.
a lot of the cool ideas I liked of RPGs like Off and Lisa, and it's got unique combat, and you can kill everything, you can not kill everything, you can kill some stuff and spare some stuff, you can spare some stuff or kill some stuff. So that's Undertale. We got 10 minutes. Moving on. Enter the Gungeon. Go.
It's a game, Devolver game. It's one of the, I think, the biggest Devolver release for this half of a year or something. So brace your wallets, people, because it will be a kind of a dungeon crawler roguelite game with guns.
Lots
a
of
lot
guns.
of guns.
I believe
yeah,
Memories and
yeah.
8-Bit is very excited for it.
Yep.
I'm not excited
for
for
sure.
it, and I'm not excited for it because 8-Bit took it from me, so that means I can't play it because I don't have any money to buy it. So I gotta wait like a month after his stream so I can stream it.
Nah, you won't be
Jerk.
able to stream it. It's a big release, man. So I think everyone will be able to stream it. Everyone, stream
Looking
this
forward to
game.
this one.
It looks
yes,
it looks
I'm for that.
really good. It's by Dodge Roll Games. It's the first game by Dodge Roll Games, but it looks
It
like
looks like it has
everything I wanted to
explosions.
see. Everything I wanted to see in a
I
roguelike.
approve.
I'm looking at the pictures and all the enemies seem to be bullets
They're
and shotgun
bullets, they're
shells,
all
like
bullets.
human-sized.
Exactly. There's tables that you can like dash into a room, knock a table on its side, and use it as cover while you're shooting at bullets. It's
Yes.
amazing.
Oh, I have got to have a look at this.
Great. Devolver
I wanna,
Digital. I don't think Devolver Digital is published a bad game yet.
yeah, they're super cool at choosing the cool games, and they're like. I
Outside
actually
of
met
Not a
the
Hero.
guy. I actually met the guy who made the game Downwell in Belgium when I was on the Screenshake Festival, and he just posted a few screenshots of his game on Twitter, and Devolver contacted him through Twitter, and he said on the lecture that he basically shit his pants when he saw the tweet, like, "Hey, what's your game about?" from Devolver Digital, like, "Oh my god!" And they released the game a month after, so they have the nose for good games now. And I want to just quickly take this 1 second to answer the serious question we got from Tikanjia. Does GOG absorb the cost of new release games that are streamed, or do devs provide them with a copy? We, with the GOGCom Twitch stream team, we are not robbing people and developers out of any money. All the raffle codes, all the games played on stream are paid by GOG. So it's not like we are robbing the developers out of money. So it's all paid by GOG Senpai. Thank you, GOG Senpai. It's all.
All right, we are very short on time, so for the last bit, I'm going to let Outstar completely talk her to her heart's content about the Slime Rancher wish list we have on GOG.com.
Evil man pie.
As some of you may know, I've been trying to get Slime Rancher on GOG.com by voting it up with the wish lists on the GOG.com wish list. We're at 182 votes right now. We're at 182. If you vote for this game, there's more of a chance that we'll finally get it on GOG.com. It looks awesome. I want to play it, but I can't play it because I have no money. So I need your help to get on GOG so I can play it.
I voted.
I'm gonna.
Did they actually destroy? They destroyed.
That
your
destroyed
stream right now?
everything. Whatever you're doing, Outstar, that ruined everything completely.
Great. Just great.
Just it's ruined. But now that we're done, we've got like 7 minutes left for Outstar to tell us everything about Harvest Moon.
Sorry, Harvest Moon music.
Stardew
How do I stop
Valley
this?
is a game. Stardew Valley is you don't stop this. This will go on forever. And this is the best game on GOG right now. It's 11 out of 10, and you should buy it, and you should just totally destroy your life with it, and destroy your love life, destroy your work life, destroy your university, or school, or family. Play this game, fish. Look at this. I have, maybe, I don't know if I can show you that, because I see that the stream is broken. Maybe I can show you that I have all the goldfishes in there. You can also get all the goldfishes by buying this game on GOG right now. No, for reals, it's just a wonderful game. I will stop this to not actually do that.
Don't stop it now. I already
Also-
ruined. Everything's already
also-
ruined. Just keep it going. Keep it going.
So as you can see, my total earnings are 138,000
Like
gold.
20 grand. I have
Yeah.
not had the time to play this.
So basically, no, this game is really good because I played Animal Crossing before, and let me just tell you that this game is. Let me just stop sharing the screen because I just ruined
you
stuff.
can't. No, now it's
I
all
did-
Outstar. Now it's all. You ruined it. You ruined everything.
Okay. Yeah,
You can't blame this on me. I don't know how to fix this. This is gone. This is gone.
Oh my god, my face is there. No, no, my face is everywhere. No.
This is called the dedication to a joke. That's what this is called.
Okay, no, actually, just very quickly to end up about Stardew Valley. It's a game about farming, about fishing, about going to the dungeon, exploring your own farm. There is no time limit. You just can go for the game and just do your stuff, and it's pretty laid back. It's like Farmville, but without the annoying time restricted thingies. It's like Harvest Moon, but without the annoyances from the Harvest Moon, as far as I heard. It's like Animal Crossing, but you don't actually get bored out of it after 3 hours. So it's pretty cool. I recommend this game. It's awesome. That's all.
You still got 4 minutes. Keep going.
Okay, but okay. So basically, 8 people from the stream team bought it. I include the moderators too. I got invited to a special Skype group for Stardew Valley only today. So there are actually people writing constantly in the group on, hey, how do I get the void chicken? Hey, where do I mine the iron ore in the best possible
Where the
way?
hell's all the coal?
I don't know. So yeah, basically everyone is comparing
took
the
it.
sizes of their farms because this is what happens right now. And this game jumped from 7,000 viewers on Twitch on Monday to 25 on yesterday. And today, let me just quickly see directory of the Twitch to give you an update on how many people watch this game today. Stardew Valley has 26,000 watchers right now on Twitch. It's right after World of Warcraft. So yeah,
Wow.
it's the 6th top watched game on Twitch right
The
now.
developers
so
are
if you wanna play
making
this
bank.
game,
They are
the
making bank.
developer,
Single.
the
I think it's a
one
single guy.
single guy who didn't actually publish it through any publisher, so he's getting all this money to his own wallet. He's not paying
It's
anyone
basically
else.
new Minecraft. Yeah, that's very true, chat. So
Basically, this
Yeah.
guy is building himself a villa right now and buying his first private jet. So this happens right now. Just that. Yeah.
all right. Well, that's our spiel. Thank you guys all for stopping by for GOGCast this week. Hopefully I didn't ruin things too much. Thank you to Outstar, Darksaber2k, TheCroxxx. Even though I didn't say much. Are you still alive, Crocs? You alive over there?
And of course, I'm still alive.
Okay.
MegapiemanPHD. Thank you for hosting this.
Magoo, Pieman? Did you say
Thank
Magoo? Magoo? Okay. Oh, okay. I'm glad things didn't catch on fire. But that is our show. If you're interested in our stuff, you can go to GOG.com, your one-stop shop for DRM-free games. So if you would like to buy your stuff DRM-free, buy it from there. We are twitch.tv/GOGcom. We stream here all of the time with a whole bunch of different crap. So if you're interested in watching a bunch of people stream a bunch of games from GOG.com, DRM free, you can follow us right here. Or if you're feeling generous, you can subscribe. All subscribed money that doesn't go to Twitch goes to the Able Gamers charity. But it does give you access to our emotes that you can use to represent GOG.com over on other people's channels. Coming up next is going to be MattCat Plays playing some Undertale. Even though I already previously played Undertale, he's going to be doing his own playthrough of the game. So if you're not sick of that game yet, stay tuned, because you'll get sick of it quick. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. That's nothing against you, but it's going to happen. Thanks for watching. Next week, we will be back for another GOGCast. That's the show. That's the thing. That's all of it. Everybody say goodbye. Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. We still got a minute.
Oh my god. Oh.
You hang
Bye.
up first. Elsa, you hang up first.
You have it first.
Talk more about Stardew Valley. We got a minute.
Seriously, I've only got about 20 to 30,000 total earned on that game. It's like I've seen everyone else like massive farms and loads of gold and all these fancy things unlocked. I'm like,